Belt tilted.
All right, so this guy was out there mowing. I used a schedule. I have it mow every Sunday and I think Thursday. So it's pretty much been hands off all summer. Really good experience. But today what we're gonna do is actually gonna do a little maintenance and we're gonna replace the blades. So let's get into it. So for the blades, you need this kit right here. You basically get it on Amazon, get it on Ecovacs.com. It's new blades and new screws, which is really nice. I already opened this up and dumped the screws out all over the ground and picked them back up. But I'd recommend when you open yours, don't do what I did and dump everything. Be very careful. Doing a lot of talking to me. Well, we're gonna turn this thing over. We're actually gonna look at this and be pretty impressed with, there's not much what I like to call grass glue on the bottom of this. It keeps itself pretty clean. And I think a big thing of that is I don't have this mow when it rains, because when it rains, the grass turns to like glue and it sticks to the whole bottom of this. There's barely any here. All right, so to pull these out, you need a Phillips head screwdriver. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a brand new Phillips head. So let's see how this grabs. And it doesn't. So it looks like the first problem here is a lot of these are filled with like this wood glue stuff I was talking about. I'm gonna keep calling it wood glue, but with grass glue, basically. It filled up the little crevices. So we gotta clean those out. So all we need really here is a pick. So, you know, I'm gonna use a razor blade and we're just gonna get in there and sort of clean out these screws. We really don't want to strip these out if we don't have to, you know. Yep, they come right loose. So we'll pull this one out and that is your blade. And we're just gonna rinse and repeat. So we're gonna do this on all of them. All right, now with the blades out of the way, we're gonna do some cleaning. It's better to do this obviously without the blades in there because you're less likely to cut yourself. Now this is really, really clean. I'm actually really impressed. I've had multiple other robots and usually the bottom of this deck is a disaster. There's just like thick grass glue, but this one, I'm not sure. I didn't do any treatment or anything on this one. I think it's just whatever they coat this with does not allow the grass to really stick. For some weird reason, it's only under this disc it seems to be bad, but everywhere else it's pretty clean. I'm pretty impressed. All right, so now I'm gonna bring it in. We're gonna start reinstalling these blades. So we grab a blade. What we want to do is clean out underneath. We want to clean underneath each one of these little places to attach, right? We want to get any kind of grass glue out of there. Reverse any order. So we're going to take our screw here. It does have a little lip to sit in, right? That allows this to move. And we're just going to run this screw in. All right, so when you install these, you want to make sure they are movable, right? They're not stuck in there or jammed in any, so they should move like this. And that's on purpose. So when this thing starts to spin, you can see actually the blades will open up. And it's also a mechanism to keep them from breaking. So because if these were like mounted like this all the time, if they were to hit something, you know, it's gonna dent the blade or damage the blade. If they're movable like this, you know, it's more likely that when it hits something, it'll just move out of the way and won't damage the blade. So this is sort of as designed, and every lawnmower I've seen, robot lawnmower, has the same design. It works very well. Also, these are double-sided. So after a few months, you can actually just take these off, turn the blade over, and then you have another blade on the other side. So that's really nice, and that's done on purpose. And it looks like this kit that I got, I'll put a link to it down below, actually will do the blades twice. All right, so they are on. They look pretty good. If you had to replace the wheels, you definitely could. You just take out, there's 3 screws here. You could take this whole wheel off and replace the whole thing. Now, underneath, I don't really see much maintenance that we need to do. All right, the next step here is completely optional. We're just gonna clean the outside. I would use something mild, maybe like a watered down simple green, or if you want something that's pretty crazy, this super clean will clean anything. So, you know, we could just gently put it on there, let it soak a little bit, grab an old t-shirt and wipe this thing down. And you can see this thing does live outside in a pretty harsh environment. It just lives in my flower bed and it does clean up very well. Pretty impressed. This is about a year old unit, and I have nothing but good things to say about this one. With the super close edge, what do they call it? The true edge technology, it does get pretty close. Now there are some spots in my lawn that I have to weed whack, but that's okay for me because I use this to only do the back lawn, and the front lawn I do myself. So when I do the front lawn, I just go out there and weed whack the spots that this really can't get to, but it does get very close. You probably know this already. It has the AI mapping technology, so it will go out, it'll map your lawn by itself. You don't even have to walk it around. You set it up, tell it to go map, and then tell it to go mow. So it's really nice. Connection issues, I haven't had really any. All the connections have been just there. You know, I wanted to go mow the lawn, and I click the button to mow the lawn, it goes and mows. Recently, I've been using the scheduling feature in the app, which works great. Other than that, I mean, the cut quality I think is great. The other thing I like too is like maybe when you're having a party or something like that, you have people coming over and you want your lawn to have those nice crisp lines in it, maybe it mowed 2 days ago. You just send it back out there, have it mow in the morning, and then man, your lawn just looks so good, you know, with the lines, and everyone always comments on the lines. I don't know why, but I know why, because it looks great. All right, so let's get into some of the cons. The cons of this thing is maybe the size. It is a lot bigger than the other robot lawnmowers that I've had. I have 3 other ones. But you know, honestly, the size to me, at the end of the day, doesn't really bother me that much. It is big, it's got way more power. It's a 32-volt system, so this is way more powerful than all the other systems. So with power, it does sometimes come size, okay? The one thing that I've run into is if I'm ever working out there or anything like that, and I unplug this and I forget, for some reason when you unplug it, it like loses its mind. And I mean when you unplug it from the wall. It has 2 plugs. It's a docking station plug that charges the unit. It has an RTK that basically that's the satellite. If you unplug either of those, for some reason this thing doesn't know what to do. And instead of just sitting there and doing nothing, it decides it's gonna go on like an adventure. And it'll start driving around the backyard, which is insane. I found it in the middle of my backyard, just like doing laps, not knowing what it was doing, talking into itself basically. Another time I found it in my back door. It actually drove out of the cutting area, through my backyard, through my concrete patio, past my pool, which was crazy, and then just stopped at my back door like it was looking for me. I just looked out and all of a sudden it was on my concrete patio. I have no idea why it was there. I actually thought someone was messing with it. That's a little weird. The only other thing that I've run into, I mean, everything is great with this thing. The only other thing I've run into is when it needs a recharge, it goes and recharges itself, which is great. Like, I don't have to do it. Tell it to do it or anything. And then once it's charged, it'll go back out and mow. So it's like completely hands off. But for some reason, as soon as it has to recharge, it just decides, okay, I need to go, and it makes a beeline to the docking station, which makes no sense because you have all these nice, let's say you have all these nice crisp lines going this way, right? And let's say it's over here, all of a sudden, and I'll spot the picture up, it'll just drive across all of your beautiful lines. Now, it's such a weird thing. I feel like that's a program issue and they can fix that. The way I've gotten around it actually is, for the most part, I see that it always drives diagonal back to it. So what I'll do is in the app, I'll actually program it to cut on that angle. So then really you actually will never see it because it'll most likely be in the same line, you know, that it already cut, those nice crisp lines that it cut. So you kind of have to like play with it a little bit. If you're cutting it this way and you see like a line just cutting across it, maybe, you know, try to control it in the app to cut on that diagonal or on that angle, and then you'll be less likely to see that. But I feel like that's something they could fix. Other than that, guys, I'm telling you, the thing has been awesome. I love it. The new blades are gonna be real nice. They have inside the app, it'll tell you when you're supposed to replace the blades. I think it told me about 3 months ago that I was supposed to replace the blades. I never did, never had any issues with it cutting. So I went a little bit longer than I was supposed to, about 2 months, but it's okay. I got the new kit. I didn't realize it came with 2 sets, like 2 brand new sets. So that's actually like 4 sets of blades because you have a set of blades, and then that same set of blades, you can then, after a few weeks, you can flip them over, right? 180 degrees, then you have another cutting surface. And then you have another set and you can do the same thing again. So you have like 4, with this one kit, you actually have 4 sets of blades. So really neat. The maintenance you just saw, nothing. I mean, I just every once in a while wipe this thing down. That's it. I mean, after I got it up and running, I really have had no issues. I have nothing but good things to say about this. If you have any specific questions on this unit, leave me a comment down below. But other than that, I'm Mike, Family DIYTV, and I'm Ecovacs. Robot out.